Hi guys, in this video I'm going to show you how to use Blender's text tool, and we're going to animate some text on top of some video. So the first thing we're going to do is inside Blender we're going to go ahead and X delete the cube. We're going to then right mouse click on our camera, press N to bring up this toolbar on the right hand side. We'll come up here to where it says location, and we'll just go ahead and do 0 on all three, and then for rotation on the X that will be 90 degrees, and then 0 on the others, and that way the camera is then facing towards the Y axis, so that we are there. Okay, and I'll go ahead and just move that on back, and I'll press N to hide that toolbar. I've got my timeline down here, but I'm going to need the dope sheet editor, so I'm going to come over here to the right hand side, put my mouse pointer on the black line, right mouse click, choose split area, and I'll just do something like that. I'll now make this middle window here a dope sheet by coming over here and on the bottom left hand corner of that window, click on it and choose dope sheet. And I like turning off the summary just because it's less cluttered. Okay, so now we're going to bring in our video, and we're going to use the add-on that we used in the last video where I showed you how to animate images. So just to make sure you have that add-on installed, you're going to come up here to File, User Preferences, Add-ons, and then up here in the top left you're going to type in the word Images, and you want to double check just to make sure that Import Images as Planes is enabled, and then click on Save User Settings there. Okay, so now comes the fun part. You can go get your video. So you can go to YouTube. I found this great little video of oil paint. And they put the camera up really close to the artist actually mixing the oil paint together, and so it's just this really awesome display of color and texture. Okay, so I'm going to use this. So once you find a video you like, you're just going to come up and you're going to copy the address. And in another tab, you're going to go to this website, Keep Vid, and you're going to go ahead and paste it in here. Click on this little downward pointing arrow, and then you're going to go right here where it says Max 720p, and then you're going to click on Download, and that will then go to your Downloads folder. Okay, once back in Blender, now we can go ahead and add in the video. So you're going to press Shift-C to get the 3D cursor at the center. Now Shift-A, and you're going to add in Mesh, and it's going to be Images as Planes. You can go to your Downloads folder or your desktop. Mine went on my desktop, and mine's called Painting Close-Up. Now before I click on Import, I want to come down here and I want to make sure that in this little area right here that says Material Settings, that I choose Shadeless. Now if you do forget this step, you can do it another way in Blender, but this is easier. Okay, now I'll choose Import Images as Planes, and there is my video. Now we can't see it yet. That's because we need to change a setting here. So what we're going to do is we're going to press the letter Z, and we can go ahead and choose Texture. Let's see. There we go. Okay. Now, if for some reason when you press Z you don't see all of these options that I have here, then it may be that you don't have the add-on called Pie Menus installed. Really quickly, because I did do this in the last video, File, User Preferences, come up here to Add-ons, type in Pie, P-I-E, and you want this second one here, enable that, and make sure you hit Save User Settings. Okay, so there is now my video, and cool thing is as I move it along, you'll see that it doesn't seem to be playing. as I move through the dope sheet. So what the heck is going on? Well, first of all, this video is longer than 250 frames, so I need to fix that. So I need to find out how many frames is inside this video clip. So the way that you do that is you select your video plane, then you come on over here to the materials panel. Oops, sorry, not materials. You're going to come to the one next to it called texture, and it looks like a little bit of a white and red checkerboard. Then we're going to scroll down here through all this stuff. Here we go here. Okay, and you're going to see right here, basically says frames, and mine says 4,670. So I can choose match movie length. You want auto refresh on, and we're going to go ahead and now come down here to the bottom of our timeline, and I'm going to change the number to 4,670. Press return, and now I've got a much more accurate timeline. And now, as I drag through, you can see that I can actually see my whole video playing now. Okay, so that's good. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to press numpad 0, and that shows me my video, and I can press S and I can scale up the video so I can make it as big as I want, and I kind of want it to be right about there. Good. Okay, so now I'm basically seeing it here, and there it is right there. Okay, so that's good. Now if I wanted to add in some text, the way Blender does text, I'm going to go ahead and just move this off to the side. I'll put my 3D cursor there. Okay, so here's how you do text. You're going to do Shift A, and you're going to go to the Add menu, and you're just going to choose Text. The text pops in, and the way it works is when you press Tab, you then can go into what's called Edit mode. And so when you go into Edit mode, you get this cursor here, although it's not blinking. And you can press the Delete or Backspace key, and you can go ahead and write in something like, I'll go ahead and I'll just do painting. Not terribly creative, but there we go. Okay, so now I'll press Tab and I'll go into Object mode. Okay, so there we go. I'm going to now flip this up, so I'm going to rotate it on the X-axis. So I'm going to press R, X, and then type in 90, and then left click. Okay, so now I can actually move this in 3D space, and I can put it just in front of my image plane there. Okay, so now you can see I'm in my camera view, and I can actually line it up and make it as, whatever I want. I can also press S to scale it, so I can have it be a little bit smaller, a little bit bigger. Let me show you some other tricks you can do, or some other little, they're not really tricks, but things you can do with your text, just so you can see. Okay, so with your, sorry, okay, sorry about that. I lost one of my hotkeys because I'm doing this off my laptop, and I don't have a full keyboard here. Okay, anyway, a couple little cosmetic things you can do to your text. So first of all, when you make text, let's just give it a simple color. So you can come up here to the material panel, which looks like a beach ball. You can click on New, and we want to change the name of the material, so I'll go ahead and I'll call this painting. And then you can come down here and you can change the diffuse right here, which is this little color rectangle, and you can go ahead and choose whatever color you want. So I'll go ahead and choose maybe a light green. We want this text to really pop, so we want it to be pretty bright. So if you come down here below the diffuse, you'll see a little checkbox that says shadeless, and that will make it brighter. You won't get any shadows on there, so you can also turn that off later if you want. Now a couple of fun things with the text. You're going to come up here, and next to the material panel is a big letter F, and that is the actual font panel. And this is where you can do some pretty interesting things. So the first thing you can do is you can make your text 3D. So right here it says modification and it says offset. If I click and I drag that, I can go ahead and I can ruin the text. Oh, sorry. I wanted to extrude. Sorry, it's getting late. So if you do extrude and you just click and drag that, you'll see that you can make your text 3D, so that's pretty cool. Once you make your text 3D, now you can add something called a bevel, and you would come here to where it says depth. And if you click and drag that, you'll see that what the bevel depth does is it adds in that really nice little edge going around all of the letters, which makes it look very sort of machined or man-made. It kind of softens the edge. If you go too high in your bevel depth, it looks kind of neat and puffy at first, but then it just starts tearing the geometry and it looks pretty bad. But you know, a little bit can go a long ways. So there we go. Okay, so now I've got 3D text with a beveled edge. The last thing I'm going to show you on this panel here is how to change the font. So if you scroll down a little bit further, you'll see a section that says font, and you'll see regular, bold, italic, bold, and italic. You want to go here to regular. And the font right now is one called B font, which is a very generic font for Blender. So what you want to do is you want to come over here where it says regular B font, and you want to click on the little folder icon. And when you do this, this is how you change fonts on a Mac. So what you want to do is on the left-hand side, you want to come up here to where it says System, and you're going to click on this little image of the hard drive right here. Then you're going to come over here to the right, and you're going to find the folder that says Library. Inside the Library folder, you're going to then go to the Fonts folder, and now you're going to see all these fonts. Now, Blender has a nice way of previewing the fonts because you might not know what Baskerville is. So the way to preview the fonts is to come up here, and you're going to see 3 little buttons. You want the third one that has squares. And now you can basically just scroll through the list and you get a preview on what you want. So, okay, and you'll see the name of the font underneath. And of course you can scroll through this whole list and you can just find whatever you want. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and try this one. Okay, there we go. It's a nice 70s font, old school. Okay, so that's, I think that's pretty good. Okay, so I can go ahead and bring this in, press numpad 0. Now I'm looking through my camera. Oops, need to move it over a little bit. Scale it a little bit down. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and cut this video short because I've been talking for a long time and I just want to get you going here. So now you can start keyframing your animation. So for instance, I could go ahead, we're on frame 1, and let's say I wanted this to simply just fly in. Alright, so I can have it over there. I'll press I to insert a keyframe. I'll choose lock rot scale right there. And then maybe I'll have it, let's see. If I go over here to the render panel, remember that we are at 24 frames per second. So if you come up here, if I said I wanted to give it 4 seconds to come in, I could do 24 times 4. See 96. Okay, so I'll give it 96 frames. Let's try that out. So I'm going to go ahead and go to frame 96. We'll see if that works. And then I'll go ahead and I'll slide this in right here. And then I'll insert a keyframe, lock rot scale. Okay, and there we go. So if I now press play, you'll see that I have 4 seconds getting it to its point, and there it comes in. Again, if I want to change the dope sheet down here, I can go ahead and press G and give it a little bit more time. But now the cool thing you can do is, while the rest of your video is playing, I'm not sure why the video is not playing. Ah, okay, there we go. Sorry about that. So to make the video be able to update correctly, and I'm not sure why this is, but come back up here to Blender and press the letter Z again, and this time choose Material. Texture for some reason does not update. That seems weird, but Material updates just fine. Okay, good. Now I can go back to my camera panel. Okay, so now the cool thing you can do is that you can of course add in more text. You can see how it would turn out. This text is way too green, so I'm gonna go back to Material, and because it's 3D, I'm gonna turn off Shadeless. And now you can see that it's getting darker, but that's because I have to move my light. So if I move my light, check this out. If I move my light and I move it forwards, so it's actually in front of the screen, you'll now see that I can actually see painting, and you can see that text there. So that's pretty good. Okay, I can also animate my text, or sorry, animate my light. So let's say I animated my light going this way. That would be a subtle lighting setup. So I'm going to go ahead and try that. So I'm going to go back to frame 1, and I'll select my lamp, and I will insert a keyframe for the lamp, and then I'll go over here maybe to frame, maybe I'll just go to frame 300. There we go. And then I'll bring the light all the way over here to the other side and insert another keyframe there. Okay, go back to camera view, press play. And if you watch the text, you will see the lighting changing on the text, and you can see that there's a little shading going on there. And there we go. And if you look really closely as I zoom in, you can see that there's actually a little highlight here. So you can see that it's actually changing the lighting. And because I beveled it, you can see that the lighting does hit that little ridge there that we beveled. So that's kind of a cool effect. Okay, so now you can do like choreography. You can do lyric videos. You can put in a music video, and you can just have 50 text objects and have phrases and all that kind of fun stuff. It can get pretty complex if you let it. So have fun, and I hope this helped you.